Hi and welcome to my channel. In this episode I'll be going through the steps of my BMW E30 rear subframe restoration. It'll include installing the camber and toe adjustment, diff reinforcement, POR 15 painting and the installation of the PowerFlex bushes. So the rear end was removed in one part whilst I was prepping for to get the car on the jig. As you can probably tell, it's in pretty bad shape, and as always I'll be working on everything. The rest of this restoration will be released soon and aiming for about a bi-weekly upload plan. So before starting the restoration, the first job was to split down the rear components down into subcomponents to make it easier to handle in the future. So once everything was dismantled, I soon realised there was no way I could restore this subframe, so the first job was to look for a new one. I was lucky to find one pretty locally and decided to get sent off straight for blasting with a few other parts for another video. And here is the replacement subframe back from blasting. This one was in much better condition than mine, so I was happy to go ahead with the restoration. So I will be using a full poly bush set for both subframe rear arms as well as the camber and toe adjustment kit with diff reinforcement plates. With the adjustment kit, I went with the cheaper option, which meant it didn't have the little walls on either side for the adjusters to hold them in place. So the first job was to make these up and weld them on. You can see here how they currently rotate and they're loose, which will make it awkward to adjust in situ. To do this, I simply cut these out with some 4mm steel I had spare, clean them up and weld them to the adjusters, making sure not to affect the serrated surfaces. Now to weld the modified adjusters on, the camber plates go on the inner mount and the toe on the outer. Some people may weld these to offer a bit more bias adjustment, but I kept it simple and aimed the weld at the centre. I had to take some material off the inner plates to allow me for extra adjustment, which you'll see in a minute. And moving on to opening the slots, I decided to do this after installing the plates, but it may be easier and more effective to actually do it before you weld them in. It will give you a bit more room with the die grinder. So getting them ready to paint, I started with POR 15 metal prep. It helps to kind of etch the surface and remove any mist rust buildup. With that washed off, I used some etch primer and some Simonez tough spray paint on the serrated areas, as I didn't want any thick paint interfering with the meshing. As always, I'll be using the POR 15 paint on the subframe. I've explained the whole process in some previous videos, which I'll add for anyone interested. It's a simple and brush-on application, which requires 2 coats overall. The final step is to install the PowerFlex bushes. These are really easy to install and come with everything necessary. With them being a 2-piece as well, there's no need to use a press like on the OEM bushes. And here we have the finished subframe. I hope you enjoyed the video and look out for the future videos for the restoration of the rest of the rear subframe.